Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RVing in New England. It is Wednesday night. It is 7 o'clock, and we are very glad to have you back with us this week. I'm going to call up John. I know John is on a cruise ship somewhere in, I think, the Bahamas. Hey, John.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Great, thanks. So I'm sitting in my house in Maine, my park model. Thought I was going to be out on the deck, but there's thunderstorms in the area, and you are en route back to New Jersey from the Bahamas on a boat. I guess you can't call it a boat, right? A cruise ship.
A ship. It's a ship. Hey, and Bob, I got a bunch of friends with me. They're cruising with their family, and we're going to talk about RVing. But can you see these guys behind me?
I can see them.
Can you see those?
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, say hi to everybody. You're on Facebook Live all over the United States.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Okay. Any of you guys that got an RV at home? Any of you guys go RV?
No.
Okay. So they're our studio audience.
So I got a studio audience. Did they buy you a drink?
They haven't bought me a drink yet, but maybe one of them will go get me a water. But
Jesse.
so hey, hold on. If you guys are connected, go to Facebook and go to New England RV Dealers, and then you can watch yourself.
No, Facebook.com/RVing in New England.
Okay. Oh, Facebook.com
/RVing
RVing in New England. Okay. So obviously the gist of this show is RVing, but you know what? The thing that I want to tell you is after what have we been on here for a week almost? Almost a week. I can't wait to get back to the RV where I can get some peace and quiet because there's 3,600 people on this ship. And there's 1,500 kids, 6 of whom are mine, or I have responsibility for. But these guys have been so well behaved during the week that they deserve to give themselves a round of applause.
Good. Yeah, we don't go RVing with 3,600 people. That's not how we do it.
And a lot of them are you guys from New York or New Jersey or
Massachusetts?
Oh, they're from Massachusetts. Where?
Fall River.
Fall River. So you're Portuguese,
Yes.
right? Canada.
Florida. Boston.
No, Boston itself.
He's from Westport, actually.
Westport. Okay, ladies. Huh?
All right, we gotta get to our show. Autographs at 11.
So they'll be back. They're all from New England. That's the crazy thing.
That's great.
Patriots, go Patriots! Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So you can watch yourself there if you find it.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know if you got the news. I don't know if you got the news today, but Nick Bonaconte passed away today down in Miami.
Oh, okay. I know he's been sick.
78 years old. Yeah. So not much activity. The only thing I want to say to our audience, I want to apologize for the last 2 weeks. We had to terminate shows. I think that pretty sure it was in the campground internet that we had the first week, and the building that we were in last week at Winnebago must have had some hiccups in the program because everything seems to be working fine. So we'll get those folks back on and do it again sometime. But tonight we are going to talk about solar power. And so let me bring up our guest.
Where'd they go?
And our guest tonight is Mark Spilsbury. So Mark, welcome,
hey guys.
Welcome to the show, and thanks for indulging us for the first few minutes. John was entertaining some youthful people from Massachusetts on his cruise ship, so we'll do that. Before we get going, Mark, we should tell you we have a very active audience, and they're alive and kicking already. Audrey's on. Hello, Audrey. Mark Polk is on from RV Education 101. Hi, Mark. Mike Perry just joined us from Dealer Resources Group, which does a great job for you guys in New England. Jerry Plant from Majors RV, which also sells the Go Power System, and Michelle Fontaine from Rolling on TV. So we're kicking it off with a good group. Mark, why don't you, before John calls you the Pillsbury Doughboy, I already know how he thinks.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, Mark, right?
No. Unfortunately, that's all.
Okay. Mark, I need to warn you.
Yes.
Anything you say tonight will be questioned by our audience.
Okay.
This is probably the most intellectual, intelligent, technical audience anywhere in America. And if you
Perfect.
say something about you need 14 volts to do this, somebody might say you don't need 14, you need 13. Another person might say 15. So as long as you have your cheat sheet there next to you, you're okay.
Hey, Audrey must feel really good. You see, Audrey, he put you into that really highly intelligent group of technicians. So we can do it. John, tip your phone down just a little bit. I got about half your head. I got your head, but you're a little bit taller there. Great. Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself and Go Power.
Sure. Well, I've been with Go Power now for, I think it's almost 19 years. It's changed hands a few different times, but we're now out on our own. We're a wholly owned subsidiary of Valterra Power. So I've been working in obviously the RV industry and the RV side of solar, but over the years I've done a lot of marine solar application, home, grid tie, cottage, you name it, all sorts of different things. So we kind of covered all different types of solar over the years, but I've now kind of last, say, 10 years really focused in on the RV side of things, and now I'm the manager for Go Power for our RV division.
19 years, you're not a rookie, and this is not a new company that just decided they want to harness some sunshine somewhere.
No, it's been fun. We have a good group. There's a lot of us that are all plus 10 years. And, I think one of the other guys here has been 21. So Go Power, I think we're 23 years old this year. So it's been a lot of fun.
And I think, guys, it's important to say that the advances of solar technology in the past 10 years has been nothing short of remarkable, especially how they adapt to RV use today. Would you agree with me on that, Mark? Not just from a selling point of view, but from a scientific point of view and an engineering point of view. It seems to me that it's just amazing. Yeah,
and just also paired with that, with the emergence of LEDs that helps make RVing a lot more efficient. So even with solar, it paired up even better. And then the technology keeps getting better and better every year. And then the cost has been coming down over the last 10 years, and it's dropped out a lot, which is great. So now the adoption for solar is a lot higher than it ever was before.
John,
so you just brought up...
John, we're seeing too much of your ceiling.
What's
John,
that,
you have to adjust again. We're seeing too much of your ceiling above your head. Go back the other way. Right, the other way. That's better, but go right there. Yeah.
He's rocking back and forth.
I hope
the ship.
I hope the cruise ship
It's happy hour.
I hope it isn't listing on you. All right.
Hey, Mark just brought up a very interesting point, Bob. The emergence of both LEDs and solar. I never realized that they do go hand in hand.
From the energy draw.
Well, our previous parent company was Carmana Technologies, and they focused in on solar LED lighting for all sorts of different applications. But yeah, as LEDs have gotten better and better, like an LED bulb is say an equivalent bulb in an RV is 1/10 the power, even better than that, of a regular incandescent. So times that by however many lights you have, the power savings is pretty good. And then as other things are getting more efficient, like flat screen TVs and some of the other toys we have are more efficient. It's just drawing less power, which just makes the system work that much better on an RV. Right. And
now, before we went on
the
air, Bob had mentioned something that one of our dealers, Lee's Family Camping up in Maine, just got their first Winnebago. Do I say Revel or Revel?
Revel, I think.
Revel.
Yeah.
And I was out at Yellowstone a few months ago, and I saw several of them. And my guess is that solar for people that want to live off the grid, it's a match made in heaven that the technology is catching up to the demand.
Yeah, it's historically the RVing solar play has been more out west. The further west you went, the more interest, like California, Arizona, Nevada, and there has been for solar. And it's definitely starting to creep more and more east as more of the OEMs are adopting either the solar prep setups and or putting solar on nowadays. It's just helping, it helps sell the unit in the lot just because it's maintaining the battery. They can show it off, run all the 12-volt devices without having to haul out or if they have an inverter, but you can run all the 12-volt things as long as they're not worried. As long as they have a battery, they won't drain the batteries down and it'll maintain it. I have dealers that leave the lights on all night with the solar on there because they know if they're LED, they're going to maintain the battery and it just shows off their lot even better at night. So there's lots of different things about it, but it's definitely come a long way.
Do you primarily focus on OEMs or in the aftermarket? And I know we have both there. I know Dealer Resources Group and Mike handle a lot of our dealers up here, and let me give them a little plug while I think of it. But the dealers that we right now know carry your products are Pete's RV, who's got 3 locations: Maine, Vermont, and Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Connecticut. Meckelson RV up in Vermont. We got all of the Campers Inn locations. There's 4 of those in New England: Raynham, Kingston, Merrimack, and where's the other? Union, Connecticut. And then we have Major's RV Service Center, and that's Jerry Plant, who's on here tonight. And then both of the flag locations, Uxbridge and West Boylston, Mass. So certainly you have a good presence on the aftermarket. Now, you can send me a list of the several manufacturers. Let me read them and give them credit, but Jayco, Forest River, Lance, Red Group, Pleasureway, Genesis, Supreme, and Heartland. Do you have manufacturers that actually install the total system on their units, or are you primarily pushing the aftermarket sale? And talk about it in the sense of our consumers and how they find your product.
Well, for sure. So we started off on the aftermarket side first. A lot of manufacturers work with the OEMs and then come to the aftermarket. So we had worked with the dealers for, say, 10, 15 years, really, and really established a good base with all of them. And then they started asking us to start prepping units to make it easier to install solar, because the hardest part about installing a system is running all the wires through the wall after it's already built. So it speeds up their time when they're trying to add a solar system and help sell units off the lot. So we started doing that. And then it's just sort of grown from there, where now we have, in the last few years, we'd have, let's say, Forest River, for example, one of their lines, let's pick like ePro or something. They've put on solar, and they won't do it on every model, but they'll pick a couple different models and say they'll put a 100-watt panel on it. And I think a lot of the OEMs we work with, we tell them, like, if you just have one panel on there and if you have a battery, the thing is live. You can put it on the lot. It'll showcase itself really well, and you set the customer up with a really good starting system. And if the customer is a dry camping customer, the dealer then can add more solar, they can add more batteries, they can add an inverter, and kind of make the system as big as they want. Initially, we were kind of a little hesitant to do that because we were working with all of our dealers. We didn't want to take it away from them, but the feedback was like have solar on there because it helps sell the unit for us. And then they just like to add expansions and grow the system based on what the customer's requirements are.
So if a unit is pre-wired, is that the only connection they're going to need? Then they can go ahead and add as many additional. There's no more wiring, so the dealer doesn't have to worry about getting into the walls and getting into the connection. Yeah, exactly, for solar. So we have a really nice engineered cable entry plate that we've made. That's the solar connections in the industry are called MC4s. It's kind of like a male and a female connector, so you can't hook it up wrong. Really easy. That's up on the roof, and then they run that down inside the RV to usually around the fridge or somewhere near there. There'll be a decal that we've made that says, wired for solar, and that's basically where they find the wire behind the walls. And then from there, it's already run to the battery, so it's just cutting out a little hole to put your controller in, hooking it up, and hooking the battery first, and then the controller, and then you're good to go. So is that the device you were talking about?
I can't see what I got in the chat up. Not quite, but that's actually something for one of our portable kits. That's an extension harness. So we do two different types of prep. The one we call for the roof is called wired for solar. The side prep is called solar on the side, and that's for our like briefcase fold out style solar kits that we offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question on that, because there are really two separate categories here. With the solar on the roof, which is, sometimes comes from the factory. But for people like myself that have an older unit, it's a 2008, but it runs so well. It's a Winnebago Navion. that I don't want to get rid of it, but I do want to take advantage of solar opportunities with the briefcase. And I know Jeff at Majors has shown, several of these units. However, how much involvement for I guess the internal installation work is there before you're able to use the briefcase?
So really, there's really none. So the briefcase style is totally self-contained. They have there's a picture of one there, but there's a solar control on the back of it that's digital, so you can kind of see what's going on. But it obviously they fold up. They come in a nice kind of like hard canvas carrying case. They have all the different adapters and connectivity you need in a cable. When the OEMs put a prep in, they just have a quick connect port in a nice, easy location that you have access to plug it in. If you were to do it yourself, you have to get to your battery. In the kit, most people believe there's a set of ring terminals to an Anderson connector, which is what Bob showed a minute ago. And they'll usually leave that in the battery box or mount that to the frame, and then that's now your quick connect for when you're setting up a portable kit.
All right, let me just jump in. I want to jump in here because I left out, and Mike Perry was quick to remind me, and I had him on the list, Mike. I just read right over Arlington RV. That is actually that solar display that I have there. That is actually the solar display in Arlington RV.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Jim Taro and Jay Moran, but they're on the list also. And Forest River, we mentioned Jose. Let me just go through some notes here. Audrey says Mark's audio isn't great; it's cutting out. I noticed just a little bit.
A couple times, yeah.
Now Jerry Plant also mentioned LED television, so that must be quite a reduction on television.
Yeah, we have on our. Hopefully you can hear me, but on our website we have a sizing calculator that helps figure out what type of kit people need to go with. But most of the electronics now, for all of our entertainment devices, like a TV or a stereo, they can be on for a long period of time because their draws are quite low. A TV is 60, 70 watts. If you have your stereo cranked full blast, it's going to draw more power, but most people don't do that all day long. And usually those are all DC as well. So just solar is needed. For the bigger draws, they're usually your kitchen appliances, like a coffee pot, a toaster, a microwave, but those are only on for sporadic little bursts of time, right? You're not running it constantly. So that's where we bring an inverter in to size it for those devices, but they're pretty small draws. The two main kickers for solar systems are when you need to run your air conditioner. That's what everybody will ask us. They draw a ton of power and they're on for a long period of time. So those ones are hard to get around, not having to have some kind of other power source like a generator or being plugged in. But if you're in those locations where you don't need that, if you have your fans going, you can get away with it and you'd be fine. The refrigerators, a lot of the movement now is to go to either 12-volt refrigerators or full residential electric refrigerators. And if your RV has one of those versus a propane fridge, they just draw more power, so we have to have more solar to offset those. But that's all doable.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you a specific question here. We're going back to basic science, of which I am not.
Back it up.
I think I slept in science class too.
Okay.
And you had said before, if you're going to plan on installing this yourself, there's not a lot of work. I will tell you this right up front in front of all of our audience. I will not attempt anything for fear of blowing my RV up, but I have no problem bringing it to one of. I have no problem bringing it to one of my dealers. And, we've done a lot of service work with majors before, so maybe Jeff will see me. However, I think is it correct that solar doesn't power your unit, but it provides juice to the batteries which provide the unit. Is that correct?
Yes. So solar doesn't run anything. It's just
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's a 12-volt battery charger whenever it's light out or whenever it's put in the sun. So the more you have, the more power can be put back into your batteries faster, essentially. So
can you ever overcharge your battery?
You could, but all of our kits come with a solar controller or regulator, and you need that to prevent that from overcharging your batteries. So that's.
I hope I don't embarrass you by asking basic.
Oh no,
questions,
they're great. Please do. So
I know there's going to be our viewers and listeners that are not as up to date on this stuff as Jerry and Mark Polk and a lot of the other people that are watching. So I thank you for indulging me from a basic perspective.
So Mike,
off track, too.
No, that's right. It's informal. So Mike Perry says Go Power portable kits up to 200-watt briefcase style. That's pretty powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. So the trick with solar, one of the tricks, they rate everything in wattages, but we don't really care about the watts. It's the amperages they produce. So like your battery, it's rated in amps, right? So we want to know how. That's like your gas tank. That's where all your fuel for your system is going to come from. So a 200-watt portable kit puts out a little over 11 amps an hour of charging when it's put in the sun. So the average couple usually draws around about 50 to 60 DC amps a day. And if you're in the summertime out RVing, you're going to get more than that with that system. So that'll offset what your draw is. That's if someone is just using like the average 12-volt loads and running the basic stuff. But if you've got like 6 kids like you do, or I've got 5, you're likely going to be drawing a little bit more power. So then we need to have a little bit bigger of a system to help offset those draws. So it's just really a math equation.
Hey, Mark, you just brought up a very, very, very important point, and it showed up in your bio. You're not just an engineer or a salesperson. You are an actual RVer yourself. Am I correct?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I may have been doing this live interview with you guys in an RV in a campground about 100 kilometers up our island, but I made it back in time. So we're a big country music festival.
Okay.
So I'm here.
So you brought up another point. You brought up another point that we've got 3 separate countries being represented on this
we do perfect.
On this broadcast right now, and talk about advances in technology, where Bob is in New England. I'm somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yep.
Somewhere off the coast of Nassau.
I think you're in the Bermuda Triangle, John.
Folks, this might be the last time you hear from me.
Watch the compasses; it starts spinning.
Jerry Plant, our expert down at Majors there. Jerry says his rule of thumb is 100-watt solar for every 100 amp hours of battery as a place to start.
That's pretty
Bob,
good average,
Have Jerry explain that or translate it, or Jerry and Mark translate it into into terms that we understand.
Yeah, that RVers will understand, like John and I.
Right.
Well,
translate that.
How do I translate that? Okay, so like you're like I was saying before, you got to think of your battery as like your gas tank. Most RVs come with at least one battery. You got to have one battery to run all the DC loads. And the spot usually, like on a travel trailer, I've got a little Jayco 17-foot trailer. It doesn't have a lot of room for adding extra batteries on the tongue, but most people, if they're just going for the weekend and they're just using 12-volt loads, like I had said, one battery is going to be fine with that 100-watt solar panel. If they plan on going further, 3 or 4 day weekend or pushing it to a week, usually you want to have 2 batteries. If this is when they're just running the basic kind of stuff. If they want to go full timing and they've got a 40-foot RV and you got a residential refrigerator and all that, usually you need like 4 to 6 batteries if you can, and then 3 to 4 panels up on the roof to really offset it. How do you translate that? It's just really, you want to be able to put in enough power to offset what you're taking out. So for every, like I look at our most popular kit, we call it an Overlander. It puts out 190 watts or a little over 9 amps an hour. And for that one, we always recommend two batteries, so it's pretty close to his math. For every 100 amp hour, you put 100 watt panel. So it's really close. And that's just been the amount of power people need on average to really offset what they're using while they're out and about RVing. some people maybe more, some people maybe less, but that's the average, and that's our starting place. And I agree with him on that one.
Okay. Mark Polk says, hello, George, and I have no idea who you're talking about, Mark. Did he see somebody's note below?
Did I see a note? I don't see any notes myself.
I don't see any notes from George. So I don't know, Mark. You got us baffled on that one. Jose says there's Jose with Rolling on TV, and you are a branded sponsor on Rolling on TV, so we see you there also. In fact, Rolling on TV are the kind folks that hooked us up with you and said, maybe it's time you did something a little bit more elaborate on solar. So Jose says there's every kind of connection that comes with this kit. So hooking it up will be no problem. So is he referring to the briefcase kit?
Yeah, okay. So in the briefcase kit, there's a bunch of different connectivity. There's alligator, there's ring terminals. We use a connection called, we call it our SAE port. It's basically a 2-prong plug. One of our competitors uses that as well. We have another competitor that uses a connection called an XLR. So we throw all of that in our kit so that whatever RV you get, if it's prepped, it'll work with our portable kit. It just makes it a little easier. And those kits, they come in 3 different sizes. So that one shown in that image there, that's a 90 watt. It's a little over 4.5 amps, or I think it's 4.6 or 7. There's 130, and then that 200 we talked about before. So small, medium, large. It's really, it is a math equation though. There's not one size that fits everybody, because every RVer is a little bit different, and what they want to run is different than their neighbors. So we have to we do a little bit of sizing with everybody, and the dealers will do this too, just to figure out what the loads are, what kind of RVing they're doing. Sometimes we'll just say, okay, well, if you've gone out RVing and you've got a battery, what size battery is it? Okay, if it's a 100 amp hour battery, how long did you last until that battery died? So then we know how many. So if say it died in 2 days, okay, you're using about 50 amps a day, and we know that if you want to go out for 3 or 4 days, how much more solar to add to that to offset the draws, and then it's just a building block from there.
Hey, Mark, say you purchased the suitcase. You call it suitcase or briefcase? Which?
Either or. We call them portable.
The portable system. Does it only work when you're camping, or say you're going camping on Friday afternoon?
Yep.
And you hook up. Does it do any good to hook up the system at home on Friday morning so that you're charging during the time? You're charging in advance. Does that make sense?
Sure. Well, if you're not plugging in your RV and maintaining it in the driveway, a lot of people don't. That's usually what the problem is for people. They'll go out RVing and then they'll park it, and they're tired, and they just go inside. And the last thing they remember to do is plug their RV back in, so it sits for a while and it's draining. So you can always have a portable kit on it. It's just going to maintain and try to keep those batteries at 100% full whenever it can. That's also the benefit for the rooftop panels, because they're always on there. So whenever you're driving, you're parked, it's always trying to maintain your batteries constant. With the portables, you got to remember to put them out and then move them around sometimes when you're done using them. Whereas the rooftop,
Okay.
Well, John, you're really getting very technical tonight.
You there?
Well, I haven't.
Wayne.
It's been happy hour for the last 3 hours, so I'm in another zone right now.
You got the audience behind you too. Let's take a quick break, John, and you can do your share thing here.
Greg,
Mark,
do we want to mention anything else during that share about people that share will be eligible for certain things?
So we Go Power has donated a system with a suggested list price of $680.
Wait. $68?
$680.
Wait. We're giving away a prize that's almost $700.
We're giving away one of the systems, and actually, she said there was a picture, but I don't see the picture. But it is the unit and the extension cable So that's got a $75. You got almost a $750 giveaway. So we thought what we would do is we want you to share, as John will explain our share process and program, but we are going to open it up for the entire week until next Tuesday. And anybody who shares this program with their friends or their groups will be entered into a drawing for the Go Power solar panel kit. So go ahead, John, and give you a little speech.
Well, you know, folks, we always want to thank our audience. And Mark, I think you can see that based upon the questions that have already been asked by our viewers, that this is a pretty good group of people who are serious RVers. And the reason that we've been able to reach the numbers that we've had over the past few months is because of our viewers sharing it with other people that they think would benefit from the information. So we are so technologically advanced through Facebook that we get a list of everybody who shares. So say Mark Polk shares, and Dawn Polk shares, and Jerry Plant shares, et cetera, et cetera. We get a little notification that says Mark Polk shared this program. So what we're going to do is for the next week, for anyone who shares, we're going to put those names into a random drawing, and somebody is going to win this portable program, which I tell you, man, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, and it's a lot of fun RVing.
Right.
I need to go back. I need to go back.
We should say, Bob,
before we,
what we should say is just share, share, and share. And
share,
each time you share,
sharing is caring, guys. All right,
yep.
Before we jump,
we're making the rules up as we go, by the way.
Right.
But
so
if you share it several times, I think, Bob, let's make an executive decision on this right now. If they share with several groups, I think that they should
we'll enter them every share count. Yeah,
exactly.
We'll enter as many shares. If they want to send it out to 20 people, we'll enter them 20 times in the drawing. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, I want to run through. We're getting all kinds of comments, and we're getting behind, so I apologize. Dana Ferguson says, hi, Mark. Nikki Maloney, hello from Mark's family. Can't wait to use our solar-powered camper this weekend at Sunfest. So you got your own fan club on there. That's good.
Yeah.
Jose says, we were using a 130-watt unit to power a Forest River Novo last week, and that size worked nicely. Jerry Brissett.
Is that out in Elkhart?
They were doing a shoot for several rolling on TV commercials and segments in Elkhart last week. Jerry Brissett has joined us. Hey, Jesse. I called him Jerry. Jesse.
Yeah.
Hemlock Hill RV. So we got to, Mike Perry, you got to get down there and see Jesse and set him up. He says, could this help our customers? Well, actually, Mark, I'll ask you this one. Could this help our customers who want the residential fridge but like to dry camp? Good question, Jesse.
Well, the portable kits are always going to work, and they're going to help. But if someone has a residential refrigerator, they usually draw, like I was saying, they draw a bit more power. So we have kits. We have two kits we've made up called all-electric kits. The one that, without seeing the size of the fridge and looking at some of the math, there's either a 4-panel system or a 6-panel system. The 6-panel is usually for the biggest fridge I've seen, where it's double door and slide out freezer, and then they want to run a bunch of other things as well. But usually the portable kits, if you're not using them for just like your RV, like you're saying, or you just want to put it and use it once in a while, they're always supplemental to the other system. So if you have a couple panels on the roof, it'll work alongside with those. So it's really just sizing it up right. That 200-watt system is definitely going to help, but really we got to do the math to make sure it's enough power for just the system.
Well, good point, and I'm sure Jason will be glad to give him a little bit more feedback on that also. Okay, I figured out the mystery of George, and it's George Grengs. I hope that's pronounced right. He says, hello.
That is.
He says, hello to everyone. I'm the CEO at Valterra. Glad to listen in. George, thank you very much for joining in. So that's who Mark Polk was talking to, because I know Mark and Don do an awful lot of work with Valterra, a lot of their videos and educational training stuff. So that solves that mystery. And George, we certainly appreciate you joining in, and joining the conversation. I want to go to
Bob,
Audrey. Go ahead, John.
Bob, we should make a special note to George that it's nice to have him involved with another end of the RV, because when I think of Valterra, it's usually when I'm dumping my tanks. So this will give us, because it's those little levers down below.
Yeah, but
so this at least
keep everything clean, right?
Gives me something else to think about.
Yeah.
Instead of, I won't think of him as the dump guy. I'll think of him as the go power guy.
Well, look at it the other way, John. They got you covered from the roof to the basement. You get
and everything in between. That's right.
I want to get to Audrey. Audrey says we go to Horseneck dry camping. We have to use the generator a couple of times a day just to keep everything charged. Solar panels will eliminate our minor usage, coffee maker, lights, etc. Solar panels will eliminate the need to use the generator.
Yeah, well, a lot of times they may need the generator if they have an AC powered, like they were on their coffee maker. That's where you need an inverter as well. So solar is the charger. It's filling up those batteries like it's your gas tank. It's filling those up whenever it can. But you need to be able to convert the battery power into AC power with an inverter, which that's what it does. It takes battery power and converts it to AC power. And we size that based on what you're wanting to run. Usually, if you don't want to run your microwave, 1,000 watt or smaller is fine. If you want to run a microwave, like a standard microwave, you need about a 1,500 watt inverter to do that. It also gives you like a 15 amp outlet at home. So whenever you plug in at home, you can run off that inverter. It's the bigger inverters is like usually a 2,000 or 3,000, or for if you just have bigger loads that you want to run all at the same time. And that's where the bigger sizes come in. If you have a convection microwave, usually we look at about a 2,000 watt inverter to run that type of device. But yeah, if they're just running sporadic kitchen loads, like they have coffee maker, toaster, they're probably firing up their generator to do it, but they don't really need to do that if they've got a good battery bank, solar, and an inverter that marries up with that. And that's what we're going to do this weekend. So,
all right, Jerry Plant added, we have 200 watt solar and did 5 days at Horseneck. Obviously, you weren't there when Audrey was there, Jerry, because Audrey makes enough noise that people want to see who's over there and would introduce it. But he says he ran the generator twice for a couple of hours.
Well, yeah, it probably just to top them up, or if maybe they have an AC they wanted to cool down the unit more than what they could do with the fans. Like these next couple of days, I'm up at that festival I was telling you about. There's probably 10,000 RVs up there, and the majority of them leave their generators going all day when they're not even in their RV. But you don't really need to. Yeah, you don't need to if you have a solar system, keep the fans going, and then an inverter.
That's the Sun Festival, Jerry.
Where is John? You're slipping on the phone again. You're looking at the ceiling.
Mark, that is the.
Yep.
It's called. For me, it's called Sunfest, but it's actually it's a big country festival up our island a little ways.
So you're there as a vendor or as an attendee or both?
As an attendee, we bring our family up there and just have a good couple days. Some friends up there. We all go RVing together, so it's fun.
Who's on the program?
Who am I bringing? Or
no. Who the headliner?
Who's the headliner? Your headliner is going to be Jason Aldean, so he's the main one. There's a bunch of other ones, but you'd have to ask my lovely lady about that because she knows the country better than I do.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big show. They've got Jason.
Pardon?
That's a big show if they've got Jason.
Yeah, it's a pretty good draw of people for sure.
Yeah. All right, Mike Perry jumps in and says, plus need an inverter to power from 12 volt to 120 volt.
Right.
The residential fridge, but that would come with the unit, though, wouldn't it, Mark?
Well, every RV that gets manufactured, they'll have a converter, which is the opposite of an inverter. So a converter takes 120 household power and converts it into 12 volt to charge your batteries and passes through. So that's there. So whenever you go and plug in, that's when your outlets and your microwave and all that works. But if you're unplugged and you try to turn your microwave on, if it doesn't work, if there's no little on-off button on the wall, you don't have an inverter, which takes battery and creates the 110 volt power. It's not every OEM puts an inverter in. A lot of the times they'll they'll either put a generator in, or that's where the dealers will put an inverter in. And just so I should say too, with the portable kits, you could do those yourselves, but an inverter system, tying it into the electrical panel, unless you're electrically inclined, like save that for the dealer to do, because it can get messy if you don't know what you're doing. And when they do that, that's their specialty. Hooking those.
I fall into the category of save it for the dealer.
Yeah. And then with the rooftop panels, that's another one too. A lot of people don't like drilling into the rubber roof if they don't know where they're drilling. So that's where the solar panels, they know where to mount them properly, so they don't have issues.
And Mark, I think a very important issue that you all haven't even brought up yet is that these portable panels sit on the ground, which eliminates the hazard of going to your roof to check. And I know that I'm just a couple pounds away from the weight limit on the ladder. Okay, but every time you go to your roof, you number one physically put yourself in danger, because they're not easy to get on and off, no matter whether you weigh 100 pounds or 250. Plus, you also run the risk of puncturing your roof if you've got gravel or something on your shoe when you go up to check it. So I'm a big fan of this portable unit. And
it depends on your RVing style. So like the rooftop ones are nice. I like both, obviously. So out our way, we're in a temperate rainforest here. Apparently, we're going to see some rain this weekend. But sometimes your RV parked in the shade, so you want to use the portable kit, so you can put that out in the sun, and then you get your charging that way. But a lot of times, if you have a panel on the roof, it's just always working. You don't need to really think about it much. So when with the rooftop ones and our kits, all the solar controllers we use are digital, so it gives you a little window into what's actually happening. So you don't have to go up on the roof to look. You go inside, you touch the controller. That's like the brains of the system. So you can program in for any different type of battery you have, flooded, lead acid, gel, AGM, lithium, you name it, and then it'll tell you how much power you have in your battery remaining in it as a percentage, which is kind of nice. And if you're really going to get technical, it'll show you what your battery voltage is at, or how many amps the panels are generating. But for me, I don't really care. I just want to go over and look at it. Oh, okay, I got 85%. I'm good, and then just keep doing what I'm doing because I want to enjoy my RVing experience. That's what it's doing. It's taking the worry of you running out of battery power.
Right. Would you also say that the advent of solar, whether it's OEM or whether it's added on, it really expands your capability for traveling to different events, not necessarily events, but different types of venues, because for those people that are not campground aficionados and want like Audrey and Jerry that were at Horseneck Beach, with solar, it just gives them so many more opportunities.
It gives you the freedom to go wherever you want and generate your own power, which is great. So like for me, we like to camp in spots where we're away from people. We'll try to go to the lakes or go to a beach, and try to get as close as we can. And then you can make your own campsite. The further out west you go, guys will go out into the desert and set up shop wherever they want. They've got solar on there. They're generating their own power, having a good time. What can you do? With the portables though too. With those two, if you're going to be leaving it for a long period of time, I always just suggest people, just like the portable satellites, they may want to run a security chain to it. You don't want those to take legs and walk off on you during the day. Whereas the rooftop panels are stuck there; they're never in the RV, right?
Yeah. Okay. So they're set up so that you can run a security cord.
Yeah, I would do that. If you're planning to be somewhere where there's lots of traffic and you just want to not have that worry, then that's what I would do.
Okay, similar to that, there's the panels on top of it.
So that one, that XP camper, that'll be that picture's a little bit probably, those are probably 170 watt panels, I think, if I can see it right. So just to give you a little idea of the solar technology, when I started, our most popular size was about 56 inches by 26, so like a big rectangle. It would have been about 100 watts, right now it's 190 watts, and it's almost doubled in the time that we've been working here. But it's not stopping. The technology just keeps getting more and more efficient, and then that just allows you to have more power on your roof. And so that's a system there that's got. So we don't just do solar, like I was saying. We have inverters and we do batteries and all of these things. We package up systems. This is so for someone who has, say, they have a propane fridge, which they leave on propane, but they want to go full-time RVing. That has usually enough solar on it, and a big enough inverter to run everything they need. The part you need to add to that is the batteries. So with that system, usually people run about 4 to 6 100 amp hour batteries or equivalent in their RV. So on a lot of the travel trailers, you only have room for, it's usually like 1.5 batteries on the tongue of the trailer. So we use AGM batteries a lot of the time because they're totally sealed and self-contained. You can bring them inside. A lot of people put them in the pass-through compartment to make their battery bank or their gas tank system larger. It just gives you a little bit more options for making that gas tank larger for your RV.
Okay, I'm going to put the share back up there. John, we're going to mention the contest one more time. Anybody
Right.
Go ahead.
We've got a phenomenal contest where we're giving away something that Bob will mention in a minute because I don't know the exact name of it, but it is a portable solar charging system that regardless of what type of RV that you have, this will work for it. And if you're a handyman, which I'm not, then you can set it up yourself. If you're intelligent, like I am, then you go to one of the New England RV Dealer Association.
They'll help you too.
Dealers, and they will set this up for you.
So every time you share, if you share 20 times, you'll get 20 entries. Share it with your groups, your Facebook groups, your Yahoo groups, with anybody that you want. Make sure you tell your friends to share it. I do want to mention our dealers in New England again. I'll start with Arlington RV this time so I don't mess up with Jimmy and Jay down there. But Arlington RV, all 4 of the campers in location, Majors RV and Majors Service Center, RV Service Center, both Flag RVs, Expert in West Boylston, Pete's RV, and Meckelson's RV. And I'm sure the first call that Mike Perry makes tomorrow morning will be to Jason Andro or Jesse Brissett and say, let me come down and show you this great display that they've got over at Arlington RV, and you should have one in the showroom down there in Southington, Connecticut. Let me quickly jump to some response here. Michelle's a little bit concerned about your audio, John, but I'm not. It may be too late for that. You might just speak a little bit louder. She's concerned about the podcast.
Okay.
Larry DeBlue, I hope I didn't slaughter your name, Larry. Larry says he'd love to have a solar system to put on my travel trailer. I'm not sure if you're at the beginning of the show, but Mark, let's repeat about the briefcase because the systems you have are so easy and very economical. So for something like Larry, he doesn't have to jump up on the roof and put this stuff out there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, so we make 3 different sizes. It's kind of small, medium, large. There's a 90 watt, 130 watt, and a 200 watt. And I know I said they're rated in watts because that's how solar is rated, but it's really the amperage. So think of it as like a 4.5 amp battery charger, a 6.5 amp battery charger, and 11 amp battery charger, like your converter that's in your RV. So whenever it's light out, it's trying to put out that much power back into your battery per hour. Excuse me. Yeah, they're really easy to put together. They fold out. They got little adjustable legs. Each kit comes with a 12-foot harness to run from your batteries to the portable kit. You can get an extension harness if you like. They have a bunch of different adapters for different types of setup. A lot of people like say if they bring a bass boat or another toy that they want to charge, they can take it from the RV and move it to another one to charge it up if it's getting low, and then vice versa. And then it just sits there all day doing its thing. So like the rigid glass or tempered glass panels, they all have a 25-year warranty on the panels, so they're really going to outlast a lot of the RVs that are being hooked up to. They're pretty solid. We also do flexible panels, which are a lightweight thin panel that we use those for a lot of the teardrop-shaped RVs or like an Airstream or something where they want more of an aesthetic look to it. Or if, like you were saying, John, if the roof is a thinner type roof and you don't really want to be adding a lot of weight to it, some people will use our flexible panels. The lifespan isn't as long as the rigids, though. Usually about 8 to 10 years is what we expect from that.
For Larry, if we put up the URL, if you go to gpelectric.com/dealer-locator, you'll be able to find a dealer and installer someplace close to you live in case you're not in New England. If you're in New England, we certainly want you to hopefully use one of our NERVDA members there. Jose says, Mark, is Eva in the background for moral support? Jose, he's got
hiding behind the wall, I believe.
Yeah, but Jose, he's got the CEO watching him tonight. Eva's, it's good to have Eva, but he's got George. Jesse says no, John. So I'm not sure what he means.
All right, hey George.
And Dana Ferguson says hi, Mark. I'm not sure what Jesse means. That may have been too early in the program. But Jose says the portable suitcase panel kits come with handy carrying cases. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And Michelle's got she's got a 190 watt on her Lance roof, and it works great.
Oh, wow.
So Audrey Egan says this sounds like a great option if you are a harvest host.
I guess we'll be right.
Harvest host,
We lost Mark. We lost. Can you hear me, John?
I hear you, Bob.
Okay, we lost. Okay, Mark's coming back on here.
But Bob, look what I got on. Can you see that?
Hang on.
You see that? Okay.
Oh, you got the Harvest Host sunglasses. All right, Mark. All right, Mark's back. So Audrey says, sounds like a great option if you're a Harvest Host member. So we've had Harvest Host on, and I stayed at 4 Harvest Host facilities when we were out on our 2.5-week motorhome trip. So that's fine.
We're back.
Surprisingly, Mark, we're within. You're back. Yeah, that's right. So we've got about 9 minutes, actually 8 minutes left, and we try to stick to an hour. What types of things should our fans and our consumers? What else should they know about Go Power, or how easy it is to use, or whether we can put the website back up again for them also?
I'm losing you.
Are we losing Mark?
Again, hear me? You there?
You're breaking up, Mark. Yep, we're here. We are here. We're back. Yep, we can hear you.
I don't know what's going on. Okay.
All right, we've got about 7 or 8 minutes left. So, is there anything else that people should know about Go Power, the products, the technology, or anything that you might want them to know? No?
I think he's frozen, but Bob, we should also. Oh, there we go.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I think is there anything that what you pick? If you pick a portable kit, you can always expand upon it. Roof size systems. People sometimes start off with our 100-watt panel. They can mix and match sizes. It doesn't matter. So as their RV style, they can. But everything's expandable. It's easy that way.
Hey, Bob.
All you have to do is keep them clean.
Bob, shouldn't you also mention that special lady who is from the marketing department at Go Power who set this whole thing up?
Eva Middick was the marketing person that did set the whole thing up, and we can hear you, Mark. Can you hear us?
No. Well,
no.
Questions in the next few days that people are leaving.
Yeah, we do ask that people, our guests, go back and look at the comments.
Yeah, and anytime people have questions, they can always call us that you can talk to help size system. If you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
somehow Mark
Let's
is
go.
going
If
to
you
the-
can hear me still,
We can hear you, Mark, but
you can hear me. I'll come back.
we can hear you, but you're gone again. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
So, Bob, I think we had a phenomenal show. Based on the number of comments that you've been able to read. I think we want to thank Jose and Michelle for bringing them to our attention, and also certainly thank Eve for doing all of the. Is it Eve or Eva?
Eva.
For doing all of the behind the scenes stuff to get everything going here, and especially for providing us with the great gift, door prize, whatever you want to call it, for tonight, and remind people, whether they're watching it live or on replay, share it, and every time you share it, we get a notification with your name on it that says you shared it, and that we will put your name, make your name eligible.
We can hear you. Mark, can you hear us? No?
That doesn't sound like Mark.
No, that's Wally.
Well, I can't see them, but if the audience can see me, I was trying to say we're always here if you guys have any questions to help the size system.
So we should.
So batteries. Visit gpelectric.com. Yep. We've got a pretty big a video.
I don't hear anything more except
watch.
The dog.
For the system, it's definitely something you can grow as your RVing style changes.
So
and
while you guys are figuring that whole thing out,
it's always your batteries and bring them up to 100%. That's its job.
From Go
but
Power,
I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, there we are. Can you hear me now?
Use of your RV.
Yep.
Whether it's a
we lost one.
a Patriots game coming up, or even in the next couple of weeks if they're going down to training.
Oh, okay.
To
I don't know what happened there, if it cut out or not.
You know what? Stop by.
Well, all right, we're running up to 8 o'clock, so we're gonna end the show now. Okay. Mark, I want to thank you very much for being with us tonight. And as we discussed earlier, if you get a chance, go back and look at the comments. And for the rest of our viewers, don't forget to share it, and you get one shot for every share. All right, we're gonna end it, and good night for now. Thanks, Mark.
Okay. All right, well.